Being born should be a special moment, right? Maybe a little fanfare, some parental affection, or at least a few seconds to get your bearings. But nope. If you're a stingray, your grand entrance into the world is just you getting launched into the ocean like a frisbee completely alone, with zero guidance and a body that makes no sense. This is my story of being born a stingray, and spoiler alert, it sucks. The first thing I notice is that I have no bones. Not a single one. My entire body is just floppy, cartilage-filled nonsense like someone tried to make a fish out of a rubber mat. I also quickly realize my eyes are on the top of my body while my mouth is on the bottom, which means I can't actually see what I'm eating. This will be an issue, but do I get time to process this injustice? Nope, because literally everything around me is trying to eat me. Day one is an absolute mess. There's no tutorial, no guidebook, just sheer panic and instincts. And by instincts, I mean burrow into the sand and pray. That's it. That's my entire defense strategy. Some creatures have speed, some have sharp teeth, and some have impenetrable shells. Me? I have the ability to be slightly less visible if I stay perfectly still. It's not inspiring, but it works. Most of the time. But every now and then, some hungry fish comes snooping around, and I have to make a choice, stay hidden and hope, or flap my flimsy pancake body and make a run for it. Another spoiler alert, I am not fast. I shuffle along the ocean floor at the speed of disappointment. So, really, my best bet is hoping something tastier swims by to distract the predator. As I hide in my pathetic sandy grave, I start daydreaming about how much better my life could have been if I were born something else. What if I were a sea turtle? Now there's a solid start to life. Sure, I'd still have to dig my way out of the sand, but at least I'd have dozens of siblings rushing alongside me, strength in numbers. Plus, I'd have an actual shell, a built-in mobile home that also doubles as armor. If another animal is hungry for a snack, just tuck in. Problem solved. Meanwhile, if something spots me right now, I am about as defenseless as a wet paper towel. Or what if I were a shark? Born swimming, with teeth already growing in, and no predators that would dare mess with me. Sharks don't get punted into existence without instructions, they just know what to do. They come into the world as tiny, efficient hunting machines, no existential crisis needed. If I were a baby shark, I wouldn't be pressed flat against the ocean floor hoping something doesn't find me. I'd be out there owning the sea from day one. Then there are dolphins, born into a family, raised in a pod, surrounded by love and support. They get a proper welcome. Their moms actually help them to the surface for their first breath, making sure they're okay. Imagine that, being born and immediately having someone care. Not just launched into the abyss to fend for yourself. Plus, dolphins get to leap through waves, communicate in whistles, and just generally enjoy life. Meanwhile, I have to worry about whether a passing fish is looking at me like a snack. Even if I couldn't be something as cool as a shark or a dolphin, I'd settle for being a clownfish. They get to grow up in a cozy little sea anemone, safe from predators. They don't have to worry about getting devoured the moment they exist. It's like having a personal security system built into your home. And the best part, if things get weird with gender roles, they can literally just switch. What a life! But no. I am a stingray, and my best skill is flattening myself into the ocean floor and hoping for the best. Eventually, my hunger overrides my fear, and I have to move. This means I have to face another flaw in my tragic design, which, as I mentioned before, I can't actually see what I'm trying to eat. My eyes are on top of my body, and my mouth is underneath. If I were any other fish, I'd just swim up to food and eat it like a normal creature. But no, I have to blindly hoover up whatever I find on the ocean floor and hope it's edible. Imagine if you had to eat by pressing your face against random objects. That's my life. Somewhere between my many near-death experiences, I realized that my biggest enemy isn't just other sea creatures, it's the ocean itself. Have you ever tried to sleep in a place where the ground moves constantly? I can be peacefully resting when whoosh a current picks me up and sends me flying across the seabed like a discarded napkin. No control, no dignity. Just me tumbling through the water like an underwater tumbleweed. As if life wasn't hard enough, now I have to worry about getting unceremoniously relocated every time the water decides it's my turn to be airborne. The day drags on and somehow I survive. I don't know how. A lot of panic, a lot of sand burrowing, and a little luck, I guess. The ocean is a terrifying place, and being born a stingray is like being thrown into a survival game on the hardest difficulty with no tutorial. But I'm still here, barely. So I guess that's something. You'd think that as I get older, things would get better. They do not. My diet consists of whatever unfortunate creatures I can suck up off the sand with my weird vacuum mouth. Crabs, worms, tiny fish, nothing glamorous. Eating upside down is awkward, but at this point, I've accepted that my entire existence is a series of unfortunate design choices. Meanwhile, my reputation in the ocean is non-existent. Sharks, feared. Dolphins, loved. Octopuses, respected geniuses. Stingrays, barely acknowledged. Even my own family doesn't stick around. We just scatter the second we're born, and that's that. No reunions, no mentorship, just hope you don't get eaten. At least I'm not completely defenseless. My tail has a venomous barb, which sounds cool until you realize I have no control over when I use it. It's not some mighty weapon that I wield in battle. It's more like an emergency alarm that goes off if someone steps on me. So instead of being an ocean warrior, I'm more like an inconvenient trip hazard. Despite this, I try to make the best of things. I shuffle through the seabed, awkward but determined. Some days, I even get ambitious and try to swim higher into the open water, but that usually ends with me getting chased back down by something bigger and scarier. The ocean is basically one long game of who can eat who, and I'm definitely not at the top of the food chain. By the time I reach adulthood, I've perfected my main survival skill, avoidance. Every day is just me shuffling across the ocean floor, avoiding predators, avoiding humans, avoiding deep thoughts about my place in the world. The biggest threat, sharks, specifically hammerheads. They love stingrays, and I don't mean in a friendly, let's coexist way. I mean in a you are a snack way. Their weird-shaped heads give them an advantage in finding me under the sand, which is incredibly rude. Then there are the humans. Why do they always step on us? I try to stay out of their way, I really do, but they come stomping into the shallows, waving their arms, kicking up sand, and the next thing I know, someone's foot is on my back. This is where my tail barb comes in. It's my one defense mechanism, and I don't use it unless I have to. But when I do, suddenly I'm the bad guy. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we were just stepping on strangers. My bad. And let's talk about aquariums. Some of my fellow stingrays get taken to these giant glass tanks where humans can pet them. Sounds like an easy life, right? Free food, no predators. But do you know how many sticky, little human hands are slapping your back on a daily basis? Constantly. Like a never-ending stingray meet and greet where you don't get paid. No thanks. I'd rather take my chances out here in the wild. At some point, I start wondering what my purpose is. Other sea creatures have clear roles: predators, prey, and ecosystem engineers. Then, there is me. I just float along, minding my own business, occasionally getting mistaken for a piece of discarded fabric. Even my movement style is awkward. Unlike fish who get to dart around gracefully, I just glide, slowly, aimlessly, like a sentient coffee filter caught in a mild breeze. Some days I try to have ambitions. Maybe I could be a better stingray. Maybe I could make a name for myself. But how? By hiding better. By flapping slightly faster. No matter what I do, I'm still just a living ocean doormat. I consider befriending other sea creatures, but most of them either want to eat me or don't care that I exist. Jellyfish, too busy drifting. Turtles, too wise to deal with my nonsense. Other stingrays, scattered all over the place, living their own mediocre lives. It's a lonely, uninspiring existence. One day, I notice I'm slowing down. I don't have the same energy I used to. I've outlived a lot of my fellow stingrays, dodged a lifetime's worth of hungry sharks, and successfully avoided being someone's unfortunate beachside accident. But the ocean is relentless, and eventually, it catches up with all of us. There's a shadow in the water, bigger than me, moving fast. I've seen this before. I shuffle one last time, chomp, and just like that, it's over. No dramatic send-off, no final words, just one last unfortunate moment in a life full of them. It really, really sucks to be born as a stingray.